What if I told you learning to code can be easier than you think? Lots of new coders make the same big mistake and it stops them from getting that dream tech job they've always wanted.
But I love you and I need you.
There's even a fancy new tool for new developers that make learning faster if you use it the correct way. Watch this whole video and focus on these 3 important tips to help you become a coder in no time. Now let's get started. The first key is going to revolve around mindset and your learning approach. Now I understand that this may be a little obvious, but you have to be focused on both what you're going to be learning and where you're going to be learning it. The what will lead you to the where basically, but make sure to choose one thing. If you want to learn web development, there's no avoiding JavaScript. So stick with that one language. Just don't flip to something like Python or C# just because you've heard that those are good beginner languages to learn. Because at the end of the day, once you know one language, it'll be much easier to know any others. It'll just basically be a different syntax at the end of the day. Now for the where. For learning the basics, you can pretty much go anywhere, whether that's YouTube videos, free code camps, or any other online resources. But the most important thing you have to get out of these resources is getting as much hands-on practice as you can and building up as many projects as you can. A lot of new developers get caught up in what's known as tutorial hell, which means that they're just following word for word what they see in the tutorial and pretending like they've actually learned something.
You know nothing.
When in reality, if they go to make their own projects, they wouldn't even know where to begin. Remember that the only way to learn how to code is by actually coding and making your own project. So if you stick with it and stay focused on a long enough time frame, then I have no doubts that you'll have a job at the end of it all. The next tip is for interview prep. Regardless of what industry you go in, as a developer, you're going to be asked technical coding problems. The issue most developers have is preparing for these interviews the right way. The worst thing you can possibly do is start preparing after you've gotten a confirmed interview. At this point, it's too late. You better be prepared to catch that L because there's no way you're gonna be able to learn in time for that interview.
Everybody loses, you guys.
But what you can do is practice months before you even think you're gonna start interviewing. And literally, I mean months, so you can get a little bit ahead of the curve. As a developer, you should know data structures and algorithms like the back of your hand, so that you're able to do these coding problems with as little difficulty as possible. But the question is, how are you gonna learn it? To answer that question is always going to be the same as it would be if you're learning coding itself, which is practice makes perfect. You have to do as many of these problems as you can possibly stomach, so that you're able to recognize the patterns and methods that go into each type of problem. The best way I found is going through the NeetCode 150 list. If you haven't heard of NeetCode, then basically he's a YouTuber that helps people solve LeetCode problems, and his videos are pretty much the best there is around, giving you full step-by-step explanations in each video. And his website breaks down problems into their appropriate data structures and algorithms. So say you want to learn arrays, then you can just go down to that list and do all the problems there so you get in that practice. If you do all the problems and really have a deep understanding of them, then really no problem should be of any issue to you, no matter what comes up in an interview. But this will take some time, but it'll be far more employable if you actually dedicate some time to it. Now for the final tip, which is the brand new tool that I mentioned earlier. It's a tool people have been talking about for the past few months, and that's none other than ChatGPT itself. Now before you guys start screaming and saying that ChatGPT is gonna replace all programmers, I'm gonna have to have you just calm down for a little bit.
Calm down, calm down!
It's definitely not there just yet, but what I can see at the moment is it's a great tool for all developers. I basically use it every day at my job, and that's why I think for new developers, this is an amazing tool to use. I remember when I was learning to code using the Odin project, whenever I got really stuck on something, I would go to their Discord and wait for someone to help me out, which takes hell of a lot of time, just sitting there hoping someone blesses you with some knowledge. But now, I can just copy and paste my code into ChatGPT, and it'll give me a thorough explanation on what I need to fix and why I need to fix it. That's why I really like ChatGPT. It doesn't just like regurgitate some answer it finds online. It really goes through each step of the code and explains it in like as good as any experienced developer can. So it's basically a tutor right at your fingertips, working for you 24/7. What you shouldn't do is immediately go to ChatGPT for all your problems. You have to learn the problem solving skills that come with being a developer, and you can't just outsource that to ChatGPT whenever you feel like it. But if you use it when you're absolutely stuck, then it'll cut your learning time in half, getting you closer to that dream job you want before you know it. So if you want to learn more about the path to becoming a web developer, click on either one of these videos. It will put you on the right track. And make sure to hit that subscribe button so you stay up to date on the best tools for up and coming developers like yourself. I'll see you guys next time.